Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Monday Kick in the Pants. Angela Fallon here, running a little bit late. Not in my normal office and trying to get things organized and ask some kids who are coughing and husband who's working to go in another room so I can do this and not have too many distractions. So welcome back to Monday Kick in the Pants. Again, hope you guys are having a great week. And many of you are probably on spring break. We are for sure. Like I said, I'm not in my normal home office right now in a different location. But we are here to bring you a gentle push each week to help you level up in your life and fill you with a dose of Monday morning motivation and hopefully provide you some tips to accelerate your success in your career and in your life. So yesterday we kicked off, or yesterday, I got in really late last night. So last week we started off with a series on how to save money while you travel. We talked about my 5 favorite tips in February, but this week I wanted to talk about how do you save money on accommodations. And what I mean by that, so like whenever you go on travel, whether it's for business or for pleasure, this is really more for pleasure, right? Because normally whenever you're on a business trip, you're kind of told what you need to where you need to go, what's approved by your company, things like that. You may have some options, but these are just some tips for that can help with that, but it definitely helps with whenever you go on a trip for, sorry, my notes are like extra sticky today. So a couple of tips on, especially whenever you're going for yourself, right? And it takes time and a lot of work to figure out like where you're going to stay, right? And what are some ideas on how to save money doing that? The first one I want to say is like if you're going for just like 1 or 2 nights, that's normally like the most expensive rates you're going to get. So if you can go and stay somewhere for 2, maybe even 3 nights, normally at least 3 or 4, you get a lot better rates whenever you stay at a place longer. So if you're going to go to New York City, I would definitely do like a long weekend. Same thing if you're going, my husband and I are looking for possibly to go to Milan for a long weekend and see some friends that live in the area. And my husband's never been to Italy. Excuse me. Even though I used to go there for about 2 years. It was during COVID and, travel was always kind of dicey, whether or not we were going to go. So anyways, consider staying at least 3 nights somewhere. You normally get a better rate, whether it's a hotel or even like a hostel or something like that. It's a lot less expensive. And normally you're averaging out your rate over multiple nights. So even if you're over a long weekend, it makes the overall average of every night less because those weekend nights, as you know, are more expensive. Another way to save money on accommodations is rent an apartment or, some form of like house. So like an Airbnb or a Verbo. I call it VRBO until I've watched a lot of the commercials lately that say Verbo. I think I said that last week. I didn't know it was called Verbo. I thought it was VRBO. Anyways, one time that we went to New York City, we used to go the first weekend in December whenever I was on a program where I was in December on the East Coast quite a bit. We would go that first weekend in December every year with our boys. And we found that an apartment or a small home or even like a condo could be less expensive whenever you're going for like 4 or 5 nights, especially when you have a couple of kids and you need a few rooms. And even a small kitchen is awesome. The best reason to do an apartment is if you're going to be somewhere for like a month. So if you need a kitchen, you need more space. Like I said, especially if you need like a long-term rental, definitely go with like Airbnb or Verbo instead of trying to find like an extended stay hotel or motel or something like that. Normally, you're going to get better accommodations for a less price whenever you go rent an apartment. Like I said, we did that. I guess 2019 was our last weekend that we took the whole family in December, and we rented an apartment from a guy that had multiple locations, and he was in like the show business, and he was gone a lot. So whenever he wasn't there, he actually rented his place out, and it was really nice. It was nice to have a kitchen. We didn't have to go out for every meal, so that saves you on other things too, like food, right? You have kind of like a home base that you can keep snacks and all kinds of stuff, and you don't have to carry things with you everywhere you go. So that's another great idea on how to save. The third recommendation I have for you is if you're going international and you have friends that are international, and you probably have a lot of friends that have said, hey, if you're ever in this city, look me up. I encourage you to take them up on that. Even if it's only for a couple of nights, then that whole, stay a couple nights thing doesn't really matter if you're staying at someone's house and it doesn't cost you anything. For instance, I've been in Italy and hung out at a friend's apartment right on the lake in northern Italy, and it was amazing. And they cooked dinner and we had wine and we didn't spend a bazillion dollars. And it was nice just kind of having something more quaint, and it was really enjoyable. So stay with international friends. And if you're like me and you travel a lot, or you keep up with people that maybe you met in college, or in co-ops or internships or things like that, you probably do have friends all over the world, just like I do. And like I said, if they offered, you should take them up on it. So the next thing I have for you is long stays. So if if you're going to stay somewhere for a while, so maybe you're going to spend like a couple of months in the summer in Europe, or maybe in France or something like that, I highly recommend you spend like 1 day or maybe 2 days in a hotel. And in those first 2 days, go look for a place while you're there. Because a lot of places you see online, the pictures are going to be outdated. What they offered may not be quite true whenever you get there, or maybe there was some loss in translation. It's a really good idea to just going to do like a couple of nights in a hotel and then go find a long-term stay. And then you can actually go shop around and look at the places too. So if you're going to go sign up for an apartment and it's for a month, actually, if you've never read the book 4 Hour Work Week, I highly recommend it. Tim Ferriss, he talks a lot about this too. So when you go stay somewhere for months on end, never sign a lease longer than a month, because you may find out that the busiest bus stop is at the corner where your apartment is. So that's something to think about. So stay there for maybe a month and then extend if you want. But those are some things to think about if you're really going to be somewhere for a really long time. Like I said, some of the pictures may be outdated. You can shop whenever you get there for a place to stay. So the last one I have for you here for really affordable accommodations is if you're going to stay somewhere again for multiple weeks, there's many places across the world that are in a organization called WWOOF. I call it WWOOF, but I have no idea how they really say it. Just like I didn't know Verbo was Verbo and not VRBO. But WWOOF actually stands for Worldwide Opportunity on Organic Farms. So this is a place where you can go stay and have your accommodations taken care of. They feed you and they actually teach you farming skills. And all you have to do is volunteer 4 to 5 hours of your time each day to help on the farm. And you learn something in the process. So people cook for you, give you a place to stay. All you have to do in exchange is 4 to 5 hours of work. So if you're on like a sabbatical or something, or maybe you're a college student and you want to go stay somewhere in Europe or wherever, look it up. Now, I will let you know that there is a membership fee to be a part of this organization and take advantage of it. But I highly recommend you just go take a look at it. All right. So that's what I have for you all today on how you can save on accommodations. Everybody else knows all of the other obvious things, like you can go look on Kayak and Expedia and, Hopper app and things like that. You can go look at those things. I think everybody here knows how to do these things. So these are some additional ways for you to save money on accommodations whenever you travel. I hope this is helpful for you all today. I hope some of you are having great spring break. Some of you may have had it last week. Some of you still have it coming up. I hope this was of benefit to you. And if you have questions or any other ideas similar to this that you could share with everybody, just comment below wherever you're tuning in, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. We would love to hear your recommendations as well, or if you are going to implement one of these. I mentioned last week that we share a lot of tips on things like travel, my favorite places to go, my favorite places to eat, some things like that in our group, Clarity Mastermind. If that's something that you're interested in being a part of, like I said, it's a large group of people who are there to help lift each other up in career and in life, and we cheer each other on. If that's a place that you want to be, please hop into that. If you need a link to it, just drop the word link below and we'll get that to you. So the last thing I have is a reminder I share with you guys every week. So if you feel like you're feeling overwhelmed or you're behind, just remember that you're in the right place and it's the right time. You'll have a great week, okay? And get out there and crush your goals.